and we'll start delving in about my life growing up in Aldershot, Hampshire, home of the British Army. So wait for a few people to join, and we'll start. Hope everyone's okay today.
Morning.
Lucy says good morning to everyone that's there. Nobody there at the moment.
Oh.
I'm all
Morning to
alone.
nobody there.
Nobody's there, Lucy. Oh dear.
I like talking to myself.
Yeah, you do.
I get so much more sense.
Well, I talk to myself anyway. I might as well film it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's good. We're bringing, for those that are interested, we're bringing in these live streams more and more. We've got 2 people watching now. Hello, 2 people that are
Hello,
watching.
2 people.
Yeah, we're bringing in these live streams more and more. And for those 2 people that are watching, I've just liked, thank you very much. We're going to be talking about my life growing up in Aldershot, home of the British Army. So some funny stories there, let you know a bit about me when I was growing up. So, as a young lad, so for anyone who don't know, Aldershot used to be the home of the British Army. It's in Hampshire, down south, okay? And all the paratroopers and all the other military bases were based, a lot of them were based in Aldershot, but mainly the paratroopers. They're all based in Colchester now, but when I was a lad, they're all based in Aldershot. David Bateman, Justin, is this the David Bateman I used to go to school with?
Okay. Hi, David.
All right, Dave, how you doing, mate? So anyway, starting off as a kid, young lad, council estate kid. My mum had nothing. We're in a council estate. I had my brother there as well, and living there with my stepdad in Aldershot. Loads of built up houses. No, okay, fair enough, mate. I had loads of friends, just like the other kids in the area. We'd all go out on our push bikes, knocking about. David says hello.
Hi, David.
He says hello back. Thank you. And we go knocking about, causing trouble, really. But for us, causing trouble was breaking into the school field and getting some sticks and knocking conkers out the tree. Does anyone remember doing that when they were kids? Knocking conkers out of trees.
People do it. I never did it myself.
We used to get massive sticks, throw them at the trees where the conkers are, and that would be our entertainment all day. Yeah, we'd get some sticks, throw them at conkers, see how many conkers we get, put them on strings, and we play conkers. So that's what we do, right? So that's what I did as a young kid: fall out with mates, be with mates, this and that, everything else. So when we were kids, we always used to walk around in a group, and I'll never forget this. One day, we were playing over in the field, the school field, and these 7 lads. Yeah, I think it was about 7 or 8 lads turned up on this field, and they walked across, and we'd never seen them before. They weren't from our estate, so there were another load of council estate kids, and we were only about, we must have been 10 years old, 11 years old, something like that. And anyway, they come up, right, being a bit funny, like, do you know what I mean? And me and my mates, as like 3 of us were boys and the other 4 were girls, I think. And we all stood up in the school field, and these lot came up to us, and they all stood up, and it's really weird. We all stood in a line like that, and they all stood in a line in front of us like it was going to kick off or something. And I remember this kid didn't even say anything to me, right? Walked past me, right, like that. Went past, and as he turned around, he did this spinning punch, and he punched my head like this. Went bang, punched my head. And I just saw red. I just went like Terminator mode. Imagine a 10-year-old going into Terminator mode. I went for it. Got him, pushed him over this post, and then just like punched him a couple of times. And then walked off crying because I've never felt those emotions before. But I got the better of him. But because I was a young lad, I never had those emotions before. And your adrenaline's up. So I'm like walking off crying, going, "He hit me. And I just, you know what I mean? You've never dealt with him before, so it was kind of rough, like a council estate.
Start on you for nothing.
Well, they're just kids, aren't they? Just kids from a different area that come over to start trouble and see what they could do. But it turns out they're all karate trained. They're all at a local karate club in the next town. So I
Great.
did all right, not getting my head kicked, and it was like Cobra Kai. Yeah, it was like Cobra Kai, but back when it was Karate Kid, like, you know. Hello, Rishab. How is Hannah's tooth? Yeah, Hannah's tooth's coming along well, mate. She's had a little operation, and it's all good. I will answer your comments, guys, but either side of what story I'm telling at the time. So that was what it was like growing up. You know, you get in fights, people start and you'd start on them, but you know, you'd either walk away crying or you'd be happy at the end of it. So anyway, I'm a bit older at this point, and I've got my group of mates, and we're all tearaways, really. I was probably the best behaved one. I'm going to say that, aren't I? But I was probably the best behaved one out of our group of mates. The rest of them, mate, were total rogues, mate. I tell you, total rogues. Anyway, down the hill from the school, we're probably about 13 at this time, 13, 14 years old. Down the hill from the school. Yeah, I'm a black belt in origami. I could have had them. Chop, chop, busy, busy, work, work, bam, bam. Yeah. You probably could have, mate, to be fair. Anyway, we went down the local kickboxing club, right? And I said, I've heard there's a kickboxing club down there. Let's go down there and see what it's about. So we walked down the hill to this kickboxing club, and it's run by this policeman. Yeah, he's actually a policeman at the time, and we didn't know any of this, right? But he was like a double hard kickboxing instructor as well. So we've turned up. He's got his bags there. We've turned up and said, "Oh, yeah, we just come to have a look." But because we're with my mates, you know, we're being idiots. Do you know what I mean? We're like, "Oh, yeah, we could all have you in a fight." Like 13, 14-year-old kids walking into a kickboxing studio saying, "Oh, we could all have you in a fight." Like, do you know what I mean? So the kickboxing instructor says to me, he said, "All right, then." Well, let's have a little spar. Let's see how you are, right? And he was being nice about it, but I think he wanted to show me up. Okay, and I've done boxing training in and out my whole life from probably the age of about 12, 13. I probably just started boxing then. So we stood in the middle of the room. Everyone stood round us, and all of a sudden, it's this fully grown policeman, kickboxing instructor, me, 13, 14-year-old gobby kid with all my mates watching, right? So he goes, "Oh, we'll do a couple of moves and see how you get on." Anyway, seconds after saying that, he goes and does this roundhouse kick. Yeah, he does this roundhouse kick. So he goes, roundhouse kick. Now, I had really good reflexes, so I ducked it. I ducked his roundhouse kick. It went past my head, and then I've gone in close to him and just like pushed him like that. And he stood up and he goes, and it stopped there, right? Because he knows I'm only a kid. He stopped right. He goes, "How the hell did you not get it by that kick?" He couldn't believe it, because it was totally out of the blue. There was no warning to it or anything. Proper low to high roundhouse kick. And I dodged it, and then that was my victory for the day, you know. And then all the stories at school were, "Yeah, I kicked this ass of this kickboxing instructor. You should have seen him. He was on the floor. Yeah. Well, all I did was duck a roundhouse kick. But that's what you do as a kid, isn't it? So that's what we were sort of getting up to on our estate and stuff like that. So come that age, hello everyone. Thank you for haircut. Cheers, mate. Thank you for watching. I'm going to tell you, for those that don't know, this is a few stories about my childhood and growing up in Aldershot, British military town. So just to refresh those that have just joined.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, Lucy says hello as well. So so leading on from that story, I actually started getting into sport. So I joined an athletics club at the time called Aldershot Farnham District by legendary coach Mick Woods. Did athletics for about 4 or 5 years, ran for England, was teammates with Mo Farah. We were in the England team together in 1997 when I was like 14, 15. He came first, I came second. Best race of my life. He came first, got sponsored by Nike. I came second, got sponsored by me mum getting a lift home in the car. But that was the best race I ever had, and he was really consistent and really good. Alongside doing that, I then started boxing, and I think his name was Errol Brown, the instructor. I know his nephew was at school with me called Jason Brown. He was like a year above me, but Errol Brown, really good. He's like a bantamweight, flyweight kind of guy, a small guy. But I tell you what, mate, he was a good boxer, and he taught us well to box at a boxing club. So I learned how to box there. But I'm going to tell you about the story of what happened one boxing evening when I just finished my boxing training. So this boxing club as well, I think it's worth mentioning. You know Alex Reed, Katie Price's ex-husband? Is that Alex Reed?
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to go down there as well. He obviously trained MMA somewhere else, but he used to come down to the boxing club every now and again, and we saw him there. Because Alex Reed's from Aldershot. You know, a lot of people you'll find for some reason are from Aldershot. It's crazy. Loads of people come out of it. But anyway, I'd done this boxing session with Errol Brown, and I was obviously a student, just learning to box. Had a really good session, this, that, and everything else. I think I was about probably 17 at the time. This was just before I joined the army. 17. And anyway, one of my mates was a bit of a hard man. Yeah, his name was Leroy Gale. He was a bit of a hard man like that. A bit of a lad, weren't scared to have a fight kind of thing. Anyway, he rang me up, said, "Oh, you coming out, blah, 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 blah." I said, "I can't, mate. I've just finished boxing." I literally got back home, had a bath, chilled out, watching a bit of TV, done my boxing. And he goes, "Oh, you're a boxer, are you?" Like this. "Yeah, you know I do boxing, Leroy." And he goes, well, come and meet me then. He said, "Come and meet me now. We'll have a spar in front of everyone." Right? He goes, "We'll have a sparring session in front of everyone." So he wanted to show off to his mates because he's heard that I've been doing boxing, and he didn't like it because they weren't talking about him fighting. You know what I mean? So anyway, the place that we went to meet up to do some sparring was this underground car park next to Aldershot police station. Okay, he rings me up. I've ridden down on my motorbike, right, and I've got my gloves in the back and my gum shield. Yeah, in the thing, I've pulled up in my motorbike, parked up in the car park, and Leroy stood there with all my other mates with a car, that nicked car that they had, that were joyriding with the lights on. There's about 6 of them there waiting to see, watch him film me in. Yeah. So I was like, "Good one, Leroy. You're a proper good mate, you are." So I said, "Anyway, here you go." I said, "Here's some gloves. Here's your gloves." So let me just warm up a minute, mate. So we'll do a couple of rounds just for shits and giggles, like, you know. So he puts his gloves on. I put my gloves on. I said, "Come on, mate, let's have a bash," like this. And the headlights are on. I'm only like 17 at the time. I think he's about 18 as well. But he's handy, like, you know, he can throw a punch. So he come at me, and I'm fully expecting him to come in with a punch, a right hook, something like that, bam, like this. And he's come in, he's just gone to rugby tackle me with his boxing gloves on. He's thrown like 2 punches and gone to rugby tackle me, right? So I've literally not even been able to get a jab out, and he's done this, and I've just gone straight to uppercuts, mate, because he's 90 degrees like that, rugby tackling me. I've held him back, and I've just gone bam, uppercut, bam, uppercut. He stood up, I've gone bam, 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 bam. He's gone back, and he's fallen over. He's got back up, right? He's shown up in front of all his mates, and then literally 30 seconds later, he's puked his guts up on the car park. I said, "Leroy, mate," I said, "Are you all right?" Because he's a mate, you know what I mean? But he's just being a bit of a knob, and he wanted to try and show me up. I said, "Are you all right?" And he's puked out. He goes, "Yeah, mate, yeah, I'm all right." He goes, "Yeah, no more, mate." no more. And this is like in an underground car park by the police station. Oh, it's stupid. Do you know what I mean? The police could probably see us from the window. But that's the kind of area it was, you know. It was a bit of a rough area at the time. But we had fun, mate. We had fun.
You spent your whole time fighting each other, didn't
Yeah,
you?
well, the thing is, with Aldershot, this is what it leads on with more about Aldershot. Aldershot was the home of the paratroopers, yeah? 1 para, 2 para, 3 para. Back then, they were all based in Aldershot. Now, what would happen is, when they were on operational tour, like when they're in countries fighting, you always got notice when they're coming back. So, say they were due to be back in Aldershot in 2 weeks, you would always get notice from the local council. They would say, the paratroopers are coming back with operational tour. It would spread like wildfire. And what would happen is, the reason they would tell everyone is because all the shops, the only things that would stay open are the pubs, right? Because they make a mint. But all the shops would board their windows up on the Friday and Saturday nights, board it up with wood. Because you imagine 500 600 paratroopers, all descending on Aldershot, all competitive, haven't been able to have a beer and everything, or pull a bird or whatever they're doing, and they've come back and they're all out on the beer, right? They're all getting absolutely smashed. People you say you look like the Monday me, Henry. And people are getting absolutely smashed. So you imagine all the paratroopers coming down, getting drunk, getting a drink, fighting each other. I mean, there's some pubs in Aldershot. There's one called the Pegasus. I'll read that one out in a minute, mate. Yeah, you know, they all go to the pub. There was one pub in Aldershot called the Pegasus, and you were not allowed to drink in it unless you were a paratrooper. Yeah, and if you went into that pub and you weren't a paratrooper or ex-paratrooper, or your dad weren't a paratrooper or something like that, you would get your head filled in, mate. So chop chop. I am from Woking. You needed a gum shield and put your washing out in Aldershot when I was a kid. Yeah, exactly. See, I'm not lying, mate. You know, and Woking was posh to us, and Aldershot, like Woking, was really posh. So yeah, oh, it's got great mum. Yeah, cheers, brother. So anyway, a couple of stories when we're walking through the town. We're walking through Aldershot High Street, and all the powers are out drinking because obviously I don't listen. Me and my mates don't listen. We've gone down there and we bought like a bag of chips from the kebab shop, and we're walking up. We're probably about 12, 13 at this point. We're walking up the road with a bag of chips. All these powers are walking down, and literally the paratroopers just like the pissed out there. He's come up to me and he's gone, "Whoa!" with all my chips from my hand. He's gone, "Whoa, fuck off, blah, 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 all this shit." He's, yeah, pissed off, like to a 13-year-old kid, pissed out of his head, all laughing, all my chips on the floor. Do you know what I mean? That's what it was like. Yeah, it was mental. And then the paratroopers all moved to Colchester, and now it's all probably happening over there. But great respect for the paratroopers. Everything else, obviously, I'm ex-army myself, so great respect for them. But mate, you're a brave man if you're going out on the beer when they're all on the beer together, especially if you're not in the army. Like one of my team sergeants, one of my team sergeants, he actually walked in the Pegasus bar once. He told me, and he's drinking. They're like, "What reg are you in?" Because that's what they said. "What reg are you in? What reg? You para reg? You this reg, that reg?" And he went, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm in 11 reg." Right? And they went and they looked at each other and go, "11 reg?" He went, "Yeah, 11 Signal Regiment Blandford." Down this fight and ran down the road, and they were 3 of them were chasing him because he was signals. He was even in the army, but because he wasn't a paratrooper, he was in the signals. They didn't want him in the pub. Chased the poor guy down the road.
Wasn't hardcore enough, was it?
No, he could throw a punch, but you know they were chasing him, mate. So what else here? Oh yeah, tell you a couple of stories here. So we got up to a bit of mischief, me and my mates. Yeah. You know, I can't really say I was led astray because I was just as bad as them, really. But we had this one lad called Cookie, right? Martin Cook. And what he would do, he rang us one day because we all were over my mate place's, Alex's, where he's playing Resident Evil on his computer. And Cookie calls out, he goes, "Oh, guys, boys. He goes, we go, "What?" He goes, "Oh, my dad's gone to work." I said, "All right, great video. Cheers, Richard." He goes, "My dad's gone to work." I said, "All right, what does that mean, mate?" He goes, "Well, he's left his scooter in the garage, right? A little 125cc scooter, little Honda Melody thing, whatever it is." And he goes, "What I'll do," he goes, "I'll ride it up." And he said, "We'll take it over the army training ground."
God's sake, you lot are crazy.
He said, "We'll take it over the army training ground and rag it. And then, but we just got to make sure we don't break it and put it back in the garage before my dad gets back to work, right?" So Martin Cook turns up with his scooter, and there's me, my mate Alex, another guy called Rob, Alex, if you're watching, and Cookie, long time boys. But we go over there and we walk it to the entrance of the common, right? And the common is the army training ground. You're allowed to go on there and walk across it, but it's all like sand and tracks and all this. So anyway, you've got to be careful when you go over the common because there's the local warden. There's like the ranger, the army ranger guy. And they're obviously on motorbikes, and they chase anyone who's not supposed to be on there and seize your bike, right? And we can't have the bike seized because it's Martin's dad's bike. Martin's going to get in crap. So anyway, we've got over there in this Honda, and we're taking turns riding it. And then there's me, I'm riding it, with Rob behind me and Alex on the back. So there's 3 of us on this moped, banding it up this little road about 30, 40 mile an hour, flat out, like, you know, going around down the dips, round the sand, this and that, having a great time. And just absolutely blasting this bike for about an hour and a half. We figured out we could get away with about an hour and a half before somebody's called somebody who's called them to get the Rangers out. So we did a quick hour and a half, came back, dragged the bike silly over the common, and then Martin Kirk, we gave it a wash for him, and he walked it back to his dad's, put it in his garage, and his dad was none the wiser.
Oh my God, are you joking? That's so silly.
Just ragging his bike every time we had a chance.
God, my childhood was so different to you.
Yeah, your childhood was, no doubt. But as with anything, things escalate, okay? So that's when we were about 13, 14. When we were about 16, 17, my mate Alex, he was getting a lot of trouble, like, he was a bit of a tearaway. And he managed to get hold of this car. He didn't steal this car or anything. He paid like 50 quid, 100 quid for this Vauxhall Cavalier GSI car. And he said, oh, I've got a car. He obviously ain't got a license, 16, 17. He goes, I've got a car. He goes, come on, we'll go driving it around the roads. Right, and there's about 4 or 5 of us in this car. And we're driving it from Aldershot through to Fleet, through to Woking, this and that. And what they're doing, I was doing a bit of driving with them, so I'd have a go driving the car, they'd have a go driving the car. God knows how we didn't crash, right? And but what they were doing in the meantime, they were doing petrol blags. So they were going out in the car because he was driving it all day. I'd only jump in for an hour or so. Yeah, they do petrol blags. So a petrol blags, when you turn up to the petrol station, they fill it up. Yeah, Rushmore Common, mate. Yeah, in Aldershot, just by Farnham and Aldershot. So they do petrol blags. So they go in a petrol station, fill it up with petrol, drive off without paying for it. Okay, so they're doing all this, and like a case was getting built up behind this car that they obviously didn't know about. Okay, they just thought they were getting away with it. Like I say, we're all like 15, 16, 17-year-old lads. Yeah. So anyway, we go out driving one night, and we're ragging it up this road. And we go up this road, and coming down the other way is this copper, right? This copper, he's come down the other way, and we go, oh no, he's seen us. And we look in the rear view mirror, and he's done a U-turn and chased us. So we floored it, got out the road, gone around a corner, parked the car up, right? And we've all sort of just started walking up the road. We should have hid, but we all started walking up the road. Anyway, copper finds us, doesn't he? Because he's not stupid. Stops us and goes, whose car's that? My mate goes, oh yeah, he got into blag mode, yeah, whose car's that? And he said, yeah, it's my car. He goes, my car. He goes, have you got a license? I mean, yeah, got a license. He goes, I've just passed my test, so I've had to send off my provisional, and we're waiting for the full test to come back, right? And back then, they didn't have ANPR. They couldn't tell, you know what I mean? You just told them your name, and they gave you, I can't remember the name of it, like a 3-day wonder or something like that, which was you had to turn up to the police station within a certain amount of days to prove you are who you say you are. So the copper could see we were underage, but there's nothing he could do about it. And my mates turned around and said, yeah, it's my car, it's tax insured, this and that. They couldn't check any of it because they didn't have the ANPR. And he said, yeah, I'll put my provisional off in the post to get my full test back. So anyway, they've let us get back in the car. The coppers have driven off, and we've just driven off normally. Right? You couldn't do that days, could you? Like this. Couldn't do that these days because it's all computers, fingerprints, everything else. But that's what it was like back then. So that's one of the stories we got into. So yeah, so after that, we started out going out drinking. We were of the age then, we were about 16, 17, and we knew where all the nightclubs were in Aldershot. And the one in Aldershot, which a guy from Woking will know, was called Cheeks. Yeah, it was called Cheeks. Excuse me, ladies, I'm on a live here. Yeah, it's called Cheeks nightclub, right? And what you would do in Aldershot, you would start at the top of the high street, and you'd have a Yates's. You'd have another bar, another couple of pubs, right? You drink at that pub, drink at that pub. Everyone would go to Yates's before the Cheeks nightclub opened. and then you get smashed in Yates's for cheap beer, right? And then as soon as Cheeks opened, everyone went to Cheeks nightclub. And back there, Cheeks nightclub, they had the podium dancers on. So you had like 2 floors. No, you had 3 floors, I think, or 2 floors, I think, playing different music. But the main one, you had two lots of cage dancers, podium dancers up there. It was like late 90s, do you know what I mean? 99, 98. And what I would do is obviously underage. I think I was about 17 probably. And I'd go out, and none of my mates were out. And I said, you know what, I'll go out by myself. I've never been out by myself before. So I've gone out drinking, said hello to people out there, having a dance, this and that. Thought I was the man. I had a skinhead at the time. You can imagine a skinhead at the time, 17, I was like that. I was walking around drinking, but obviously I only went out with about 15 quid. I didn't have any money, 17-year-old lad. So I've got out with like 15 quid. That's lasted me probably back then 4 or 5 drinks. And what I've started doing is I've gone, I've got a really good idea. So I'm in this nightclub at the moment, about midnight, dancing away. Don't know how I got in, but I got in. And I thought, what would be a really good idea? I'll start picking up everybody else's drinks when they're dancing, because they won't notice. And then I'll get the drink for free. Great idea. You could tell at this point I was obviously a genius mastermind at 17 years old. So I've gone around there, I've picked up this drink, I've drank this one drink, I've picked up this other drink, and I'm pretty sure somebody's dropped like some drugs or something in it. Like somebody's like laced somebody else's drink, or they've put something in their own drink to spice it up, and they put it on the side. And me being a divvy, I've picked it up, drunk the drink, right? And then all of a sudden, mate, I'm like this, 17 years old in a nightclub. Now that nightclub was about a 15-minute walk, from my house, my mum's house I was living at the time. And I've got out, mate, and it's took me an hour and a half to walk home. That's.
Did you get lost?
Well, I wasn't lost. I was out of it, wasn't I? Because the drink was spiked. So it's took me an hour and a half to get home, and I was staggering left, staggering right, because a couple of mates saw me and said, we saw you out the other night. You were out of it. I didn't even remember seeing him. So after that, I started getting my life back on track. And that's when I started getting a job, this and that. And that led me to join the British Army. And I've done a whole video of my time in the British Army. So that was today's live, guys, about 28 minutes or so. Thank you, everyone who's on here. Richard Plays, Chop Chop, Busy Work Bang Bang, David Bateman, Lucy, all the others. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And the point of these lives is I want to catalogue like parts of my life. So I've done the British Army part of my life. I've now done my youth, my childhood part of my life. And I'm going to do other bits and bobs. So I can piece them together, think, mate, by all. I can piece all the pieces together. And then if anyone wants to see what I got up to in my life, they can in a clear, concise manner. And it's great connecting with everyone on this live. So thank you very much. We're going to be at Lymington Car Boot this Sunday. So if you want to see us, come down to Lymington Car Boot.
Come down and say hi. It'd be nice to see you.
We'll have loads of stuff for sale there. Enjoy all our other videos. And I thank you and goodbye. And I'll see you on the next one. See you later. Bye. Boom.